Hello again. We are Chris Lee and Chase Robinson of Southeastern 16 here to preview Oklahoma's road trip to Ole Miss. The Rebels, according to BetOnline, are 20 and 1/2 point favorites with an over-under of 49, making for an implied final score of Ole Miss 35, Oklahoma 14. Rebels off last week, having suffered 2 defeats already. I think Ole Miss is a better team than the record shows, and it will have a chance to prove that against Oklahoma Saturday. A team that hopes it is better than its offense has shown, and the Sooners over the weekend got rid of offensive coordinator Seth Littrell. I don't know if he was the problem. I think they got a lot of problems there. But anyway, change in the air for the Sooners as they head into Oxford, Chase.
Yeah, I think this bye week came at a good time for Ole Miss. They've played a lot of football games. They have played 7 games before they get this first bye week, and it was a tough game against LSU. We saw them drop the game a few weeks ago to Kentucky, and got a good win over South Carolina, and then fell at LSU. So I feel like the bye week was at a really good time for them to kind of work on a game plan for the back half of the season and to buckle up, and they've got a good little stretch here that I feel like where they can get some wins, and again, I don't think you can write off this Ole Miss team yet. Like it would surprise me none if they went unbeaten the rest of the way. Wouldn't surprise me if they lost one along the way. So this is an Ole Miss team that if they go unbeaten the rest of the way, they're a college football playoff team. But look, they're good on both sides of the ball, and like you mentioned with Oklahoma, it's a struggle right now. There's no way around it, especially offensively. They have just not been able to put up good numbers, and so you have to imagine Ole Miss is they're a big favorite in this game, but this is I feel like it's a good bounce back game for Ole Miss and coming out of the bye week.
All right, Chase, let's start with Oklahoma having the ball, and here are the stats for both sides of the matchup. Sooners averaging 22.1 points a game, 67 snaps on average. They turn it over 2.4% of the time. Average on rushing plays, 4.3 yards. Same on passing plays. Sooners, the worst offense in the league on a per-snap basis. Ole Miss's defense has been fantastic statistically. Rebels giving up 10.6 points a game. That's the number 2 scoring defense in the league. They are on the field for an average of 71 snaps a game, a 2.2% turnover rate. On rushing plays, Rebels giving up a league low 2.9 yards per rushing play. On passes, that number is 4.9 for a total of 4.1 total. And Ole Miss gets a sack rate of 8.4%, while Oklahoma is giving up sacks at a 12% rate. This is a very lopsided side of the matchup here, it feels, unless Oklahoma can find some magic in the offseason, or the off-week change of coordinators, and who knows, perhaps some health, too, to the receiver room.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Oklahoma, Jackson Arnold came in and was trying to be a spark to this team in that big loss to South Carolina, and Michael Hawkins, a guy that they thought maybe he could be the spark that they needed. But you mentioned the sacks. They've been sacked 29 times this year. This offensive line has not been able to block anybody. There's been injuries there on the offensive line. They've had so many receivers out. Deion Burks has been out. Like this, they've been hit with so much at one time, and they really haven't been able to bounce back, even with getting some guys back. It's not working right now for Oklahoma. And yeah, with Ole Miss defense playing the way they are, and the pressure that they're able to put on you, got to imagine that whoever's in at quarterback, whether Hawkins or Arnold, they're going to be running for their life Saturday.
All right, before we flip sides of the matchup, tell folks about our presenting sponsor, BetOnline.
Yeah, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. Every stat, matchup breakdowns, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. They've got the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, Major League Baseball playoffs, NHL, NBA, to political props. When the game's over, you can go to the online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or one of the over 150 slots games. So head over to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.
All right, when Ole Miss has got the ball, the Rebels average 73 plays per game. That is, I think, second in the league behind just Tennessee. The Rebels average 41.4 points. They turn it over 1.4% of the time, 5.9 yards per rushing play, 9.5 per passing play for 7.7 per snap. Oklahoma's defense, here are the numbers: 21.3 points a game, 67 snaps a game, a 3% turnover rate. Teams will run it 53% of the time, 3.8 per rushing play, 6 flat per passing play. Oklahoma gets defensive sacks at an 11.3% rate. Ole Miss gives them up at a 6.5% rate. And the offensive line has struggled recently against some of the better pass rushes in the league. But this is certainly a strength-on-strength matchup here. I think OU's defense is one that can force turnovers and has been pretty good. It just has not been able to bear under the weight of the spots the offense has put it in week after week.
Yeah, this is definitely the bright spot of Oklahoma. If you can find one, I feel like their defense has done an exceptional job, and again, they've played some really good offenses, and they will continue to. And this is one of those right here. And Jaxson Dart's just so good. He's thrown for 2,384 yards, 14 touchdowns. Henry Parrish has run the ball well. He has 612 yards. Tre Harris has been dynamic, 987 yards. Caden Lee, 429. Juice Wells, 371. Jordan Watkins, 236. Caden Prieskhorn, 203. Like, they've got playmakers. They've got guys who can catch the ball. And I think that's kind of one of the difference makers for Ole Miss, is they've got so much depth at receiver. And it's not like they're just throwing guys out there to have bodies. No, they're playmakers that they put out there. And I think that's what could change the game for Ole Miss if they can get into this Oklahoma defense and get some of those receivers involved. Then that's going to be huge if they can break through that second level of the Oklahoma defense. But I like what I've seen at times from Oklahoma defensively. Now, are they perfect? No, but I feel like they can make some good stops, and they'll have their work cut out for them here against Ole Miss.
Let's talk picks and why. We'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ole Miss. I feel like they're just going to be able to get it done offensively. They're going to make the stops they need defensively. I think this is a well-rounded Ole Miss team, even with the 2 losses that they have. It was, Kentucky. You look at that game. That was not Ole Miss's day. LSU's really hot right now, but I think Ole Miss is a really good football team, and I think they get it done at home against Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'll take Ole Miss in a blowout. I think the recipe for Oklahoma to win is getting turnovers. Ole Miss just doesn't really turn the ball over that much. The run defense is stingy. OU's got to hold on to the ball in terms of just maintaining possession. That's going to be a struggle. I just, there's nothing here that points me to an upset. And again, I don't think that's necessarily a huge indictment on Brent Venables and Oklahoma's program. I just think the injuries have decimated what they have been this year, and we never really got to see Oklahoma the way we hope. So,
right.
Unfortunately, that's where we are heading into this one. But you never know in the SEC. Been upsets all year. So we'll recap this one way or the other afterwards. Best way to do that, hit the subscribe button and enable your notifications so you know when we go live. Advertising inquiries, send those to caroline.smith@southeastern14.com. For Chase Robinson, I'm Chris Lee. You're watching Southeastern 16, presented by BetOnline.